Welcome to the Market Mindset. We are the hub for news, results, and CEO interviews focusing the junior commodities sector. We provide market analysis and perspective that will help position you for solid returns. If that sounds like something you're interested in, you can help support us by liking this video, subscribing to our channel, and clicking the notification bell. For more info, you can visit our website. All links are in the description below. Now let's get into today's video.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Digging Deeper. Thank you to Red Cloud for having another great guest here today. We're going to be talking uranium, we're talking energy, and we're talking with Azincourt Energy. We're lucky to have Alex Klenman, who's the president, CEO, and a director over at Azincourt. We're going to start talking about nuclear, talk about the interesting projects you've got, lots of news. How are you, Alex? It's great to have you here.
Thanks, Andrew, and good morning. Great opening. That's a slick opening. I like to follow that. Put a smile on my face. Thank you.
Perfect. Well, hey, listen, we're entering into a great energy-looking market because, unfortunately, we're currently in a real tight situation, wanting to make the world greener and cleaner and safer and whatnot, but you know, it doesn't look like anyone's provided us a clear pathway, but at the end of the day, if we're going to get there, without question, and we've had many guests on, nuclear is going to play a huge component.
Yeah, we think so. And look, I mean, nothing's perfect. All energy sources come with some wart or two, and that's the case with nuclear as much as anything. But certainly the world's dependence on fossil fuels, for example, is changing, and it is moving in a more green, sustainable way, thankfully. And we believe, like a lot of other people, that nuclear is a big part of that.
And I mean, we've got a big backdrop, which kind of adds to the nuclear story because, you know, I'm certainly not a uranium expert, but I remember when people would say to me a couple of years ago, like, hey, keep your eye on uranium. When it moves, it moves. But it would always be like, but Kazakhstan's always that one thing we can't factor in because they've got so much there. But that shifted now because of the whole Russia situation where that's offline. It's going to be very difficult to say the least.
Yeah, it's changed. Obviously, that had a lot to do with. It has a lot to do with what we're seeing recently. In terms of spot price, but there was a supply deficit that existed that was on the books prior to Ukraine, and yes, but it does certainly involve the Kazakhstan situation. But we were headed here anyway. I mean, look, there wasn't Kazakhstan issues or Russian-Ukraine conflict in 2011 or 2007, and we had massive spikes in the spot price at that point.
Yeah, and like I said, when it goes, it goes. Now, I'm hoping and thinking it could be slightly different. I mean, it's certainly moving. It's definitely moving, but there's more of I think, a recognition and understanding, and certainly from the Biden administration, where I've said this before, Democrats have technically and traditionally not really been in favor of nuclear. They're really warming up to it. Biden's certainly open up to it, and that's a huge. That's a big tip of the hat to go, okay, finally, this could open up a big push where it's not just a spike, but it can hold for a while.
Well, we know, having a lot of reactors in the pipeline on the build side is also contributing because they're going to have to fuel those things, and there's not a lot of new supply coming online, and a lot of the existing mines need a very healthy spot price to be profitable, and we're not quite there yet. So even if you want to flick a switch, on one of the bigger mines that has been shut down because of low spot prices and other reasons, I mean, even if you flick the switch, it's going to be a year and a half, 2 years before any of that supply comes to market.
Yeah, and then we have to throw in the factor of shipping. I mean, the shipping costs right now is astronomical, and that's a huge factor. Which kind of leads us into, well, where are you? And you're in a great location, well known for uranium, and outstanding jurisdiction. I'll let you kind of fill in the blanks there, but it's a good segue to go. It matters where you're getting your materials now, and more than ever, and I think moving forward it will. And then also, how are you going to get it to end users? That's also going to be a big factor for all parts of the supply chain.
Certainly, and obviously Canada being as close to the United States as it is has its benefits, and one of those benefits for us, or for anybody in the uranium space, is simply we're on the same continent. We're friendly, we're neighbors. The Athabasca is really ground zero for high grade uranium. We've got as much as 100 times the average, the world average. The world average of 0.2%. We're well above that in the Athabasca. So and we've been in a long, prolonged bear. So there's a lot of open ground. There's a lot of ground that's underexplored, and we're in a very favorable environment, 100%.
And then specifically with you, you've got two projects, but one is like kind of the flagship project.
Yeah.
And I guess we'll kind of ease into that because there's news that's just come out.
Mm-hmm.
But let's start with the project. So tell me about the East Preston project.
Yeah, 25,000 hectares. We've earned the majority over the tail end of the bear, which we're very proud of. We were able to finance our way cheaply, and we managed to do it in a tough market. We ended up, we've got 25,000 hectares. We've spent millions delineating targets there. We've got over 30 kilometers of conductive trends, which is massive in and of itself. 25,000 hectares is big. We're next door. We've got Orano on one side, NextGen just north of us, so a really high rent neighborhood. And we're beginning to get into some really exciting technical stuff in the drill program that we just finished.
Yeah, and even your deck, it's very technical, and mm-hmm. With this show in mind, we try to avoid the technical. So whenever I was even speaking to you, like, if you've got technical questions, we want you to reach out to myself, to Red Cloud. We can get you the report from Red Cloud, what they think as well. But also you can reach out to Alex directly as well. I know that you spend countless hours a day speaking even to individual retail investors to tell the story, and also let them know, in part, why, because the technical part is so key, is why so many bigger funds are invested and very interested. And that's a whole other conversation. Yeah,
no, that's exactly right. And to be very quick and try to provide a fast summary on it. Look, we're a pre-discovery drill company. We've yet to hit the big hole. Yet we have 28 institutional investors, i.e. funds, in the deal. They continue to support us, and I think that speaks not only to the macro sense of where the market's going to be in the coming months or the coming years, but also the quality of the projects. And East Preston, we're vectoring towards discovery. It's big, some exciting stuff already in this past drill program. So we're honing in on something, and we're excited about it.
And that kind of honing in, we talked a little bit before too, like you were saying, like some of these are like table legs. They go vertically down, and they could be like 30 meters wide. Now, and we're not going to get too technical, but like a 50-meter wide step out is considered a pretty tight step out. But a 30-meter just going straight down, that deposit, one could be really just clip the outside of it or whatnot. You could miss that. Where if it's horizontal, you're going to catch some of it and find. But so tell us what you're doing in regards to that, with knowing that and knowing, I mean, you've got great neighbors. People know the companies that have hit lots of good stuff, mm-hmm. which obviously, just to keep it general, would excite and entice funds to go, well, you guys are onto something here.
Yeah, no, we did. Look, this drill program, we're still waiting for the geochem, the analysis of the drill core. We're still several weeks away from getting any of that in. But certainly the main thing to take away from this previous drill program that we've just completed is the alteration. We've run into several alteration zones. Alteration is key. It is a halo to mineralization or deposition. So typically when you start to run into the alteration, the hematites, you're getting closer, and these weren't just small areas. There's two total of now 1,700 meters, so 500 meters in one zone, 1,200 meters in another. A very thick, and that's an exciting development, knowing what we know about how you find uranium in the Athabasca. 3 major discoveries have been made by chasing alteration, and that we know of, just to cite a few, and Millennium, Key Lake, and MacArthur River were all found by various ways of honing in on that alteration. So we like where we're at. Obviously, we put out the news of the first 800 meters. We were able to pick up another $5 million in institutional investment, basically on the heels of that announcement. So we're headed in the right direction. I love the fact that the funds say, here's more money that keep you going and put more drills in the ground ahead of drill results. Says a lot.
Yes. So ahead of drill results, I'm just imagining like whenever you get the geos in the room and you're explaining what you're finding and they're asking the technical questions and they're saying, oh no, we like what we're seeing. Not only are they willing to kind of, factor that in ahead of results, which is great, but also you've done a we call it a stock, 2.2 for 1.
Yeah, consolidation. Look, we had, because I mentioned earlier, we were financing for years in a very down market. We were forced to finance cheap. There was no way around it. But we wanted to make sure that we got the majority interest in East Preston prior to the bull, which has come. And it came a little later, but that's fine. We're here now. We've got $60, $65 spot, and we're headed higher by all looks and purposes, and I think that's gonna play out. But we wanted to make sure we did it, and we did it. And with 565 million shares out after this last financing, it was time to tighten the capital structure. And it's not necessarily about shaving, and we did it for all the right reasons. We're well funded. We're just ahead of discovery. We're in a bull market that's going to only grow and get stronger. And now's the time to do it, and it's about market cap, and we really feel that the market cap now has a chance to gain ground, whereas before there was overhang. There's no doubt about it.
I think it's interesting to point out. I get to talk to a lot of retail investors, and they typically will get scared when they hear that. They go, oh no, oh my gosh. And you go, okay, there's good reason in the past. You could find lots of cases where it's not worked well, but these funds knew this as well, and none of the funds pulled any money. So that's also, and that's such a key point, because whenever I haven't asked you about that, I thought, okay, how is the market going to respond? But more importantly is the institutional people that are having the very technical discussions. They're not upset that they didn't pull any of the tickets.
No, and I believe that speaks to the strategy here, and the strategy is very simple. I mean, we're headed into what could be a decade, once in a decade, once in 2 decade event, and that could be $75, $85, $100 spot. When that happens, when the Uber driver turns around and says, hey, I got a uranium stock that I got a tip on, right? It's here. And you want to present as best you can to that wave of new investors who do come into the market, because they are going to make a massive difference. When you have that type of sentiment in your corner, you got one look, and when they look at you and you've got this, you may tick all the boxes, but if they see 565 million shares out, they might go, ooh, I'll look for another date elsewhere, kind of thing, right? So we're now positioned as of tomorrow morning. That's when the consolidation takes place. But we'll be positioned. We look good. We've got cash in the bank, $13 million. We have 2 remarkable projects, exploration projects, in the right place at the right time, and now our capital structure fits. I think the road ahead for market cap gains is much clearer and much easier now.
Yes, I mean, you see it, the strategy unfold quite nicely. And once again, a lot of my viewers are generalists and be looking for opportunities to get into something. And whenever you have some questions like, oh, what about this buy, but with this rollback and this and that, when you see what happened, it's like, oh, okay, wait, this is good actually. There's because we're talking about things that are very technical and tough for a generalist investor to understand. And to know that none of the funds pulled, that's a big step, because it gives people more credence or credibility to go, okay, they would have had very tough conversations about the project, the property, ones I may not even know what to ask. And that, I think, is telling to kind of let that part out.
Well, and look, I mean, it just made sense. And I know it's hard for some people to swallow that and to wrap their head around it. But the value of your investment should stay the same. It may dip, but it could dip under the old structure. But what it does is it just makes it so that investment has a better chance of a better ROI. It's that simple. You're not going to lose money in this situation. You're really not. Over time, it should be fine.
It should be fine. And then, of course, we're hoping, there's going to be news coming out. Give any kind of, I mean, it's tough with assays and whatnot, but what is it, kind of these any day now, or what's the time hopeful period?
Yeah, well, we know let's just play the logic game here. We know that there's been sort of an epic influx of capital into this space over the last year, 2 years now, year and a half, and that has resulted in more drilling than say in the previous 10 years in the Bear. So the labs are going to be busy. There's no doubt about it. We're hoping that the delays aren't too bad. I don't have any indication that there's going to be any delays, but let's just assume that things are going to take time. So sometime here in April, we may see some of the early results, but we have no idea. Honestly, it could be May, it could be June at the outset, but we're, fingers crossed that we get them soon. And that's going to tell a huge story of what we drilled through. I mean, we got some 10 times background radioactivity. We're interested to see what the source of that radioactivity was and is, and that's interesting from our perspective.
Yeah, so that's really the next step, is analyzing that data and then going, okay, with the next step, in regards to there. Is there other projects or anything else that's going on too, kind of simultaneously? I mean, you've got a big treasure chest, so there's lots of funds there. What else is happening while and you can't, there's no point in saying, if we get good results, we'll do this. It's just, we have to wait till we get the results, then we see what the next step is.
I mean, it's funny because good results, bad results, any results we get, all it does is tell us where the next drill holes are going. So if we hit huge, there's, we know where the holes are going. Whatever the analysis of the core tells us will dictate where we're vectoring in on the next drill program. So really what we're looking at right now is what kind of summer work can we get done? It's a little tougher in the Athabasca with summer work. You have local communities, First Nations, who use the areas they live in extensively in summer months. So you don't want to disrupt that. We're happy to, push things out and make sure that we're not disruptive partners to local communities. But we are looking at ways to continue to push the projects forward in the summer months, particularly the new project, Hatchet Lake in the northeastern side of the basin. That's on the trend that holds all of the production in all of the major deposits. So we're in the right area there. We're really excited to get to that. We will be drilling that next winter for the first time, as well as East Preston. So we've got, we're going to have 2 drill programs going this coming winter. And now it's just about maybe honing targets, doing additional geocam or geophysical work to help ascertain where the next targeting is going to be, particularly at Hatchet Lake, which we haven't really been on yet. We might get some recon work done this summer. So we're looking at all of that now. And before you know it, we'll be planning and announcing the next major drill programs.
Excellent. So I love it whenever there's news coming, and it's, like you said, it's all data. It's all more than relevant. And if it's good news, that's great. I mean, it's wonderful. But either way, it's going to help focus in on what the next step is. And it goes without saying, but I mean, I'll just say it. The infrastructure is all up there. There's tons of activity up there. Yeah. There's no concerns with that. And it's just nice, though, to kind of, when you mentioned the relationship with First Nations, I assume they're pretty good. I mean, that kind of recognition of knowing, listen, we don't want to upset anyone up here during these periods of times. I think that speaks highly to the company itself as well.
No, listen, for example, just to, we know we need good, strong partnerships. We want to support the areas we're in. It's not our backyard, it's theirs. And it's pretty simple. It's a simple way to look at it. But I mean, 15% or so of the budget that we just spent on this previous drill program went directly into the community, i.e., picking up local contractors for work, bringing them into the camp. So we've spent considerable money, but that's just because that's the way it should be. Yeah. And I don't see it working. It's not sustainable any other way. So, we're all in this together, and we want to make sure that everybody's happy, and we're doing our part and trying to do as much as we can to demonstrate that. It's always, a touchy situation. There's been years of abuse and issues with previous operators and other companies who aren't, as ready to partner and ready to do the right work. So we're trying to be responsible. We're trying to be good partners to the community.
No, it's so important to hear that too, because valuing all the stakeholders involved is critical, not just as a talking point, but we see that from BlackRock Capital all the way down when they're talking about ESG and whatnot. Is having that, it just, when everyone feels like they're winning, like you're on the right side, you're all working together towards something. It's far better than anything if there's any conflict or
right. No, it's smart. It's smart management, and from all it really just comes down to one very simple thing, and it's doing the right thing. It's that simple.
Perfect. Well, excellent. I really appreciate you jumping on here. This sounds exciting, and I love it whenever I see something like with the rollback. You think, "Oh, this is going to be a challenging question," and then it's quickly answered. And I love when that happens too, because it presents the company in a new light, and it's a unique situation too. So I really appreciate you coming on. Like I said, it's in the right neighborhood. We've got the setup that people have been waiting for a long time. Yeah. And we've talked about it often. When it moves, and it moves fast. So if there's urgency, there's always urgency in this sector for sure.
Yeah, no, it's an exciting time. We've waited a long time. About $60, $65 spot, I think, is just the beginning. We're in the early innings of a 9-inning game.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Alex. I really appreciate it. Everyone, check out Azincourt Energy. If you've got any questions, send me an email. I can also put you in touch and get you a copy of what the Red Cloud analysts think of the stock. We can forward that on to you. But also, if you want to reach out directly to Alex, I'll give his home number. No, I'm kidding.
People know how to get a hold of me.
You know how to get a hold of him, and he's happy to talk to you. So thanks again, Alex. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Andrew. It was a pleasure being on, and we'll talk soon.
Excellent. Take care. All the best, everyone.